Navigating the Strike. Everyone, I'm Matthew Cornwell with Get Taped in Atlanta, Georgia, one of Atlanta's original audition taping services, which I co-own with my amazingly talented, beautiful wife and best friend, Brooke. Now on to our topic, navigating the strike. Okay, so normally I write a loose script for these videos, but today I just kind of wanted to go off the cuff, keep this relatively short, hopefully. And I want to talk about specifically for actors how to navigate this strike season moving forward, especially if you're watching this video on August 7th, 2023. So, the way I see it, there are two extremes that actors can be falling into, and then, of course, the entire spectrum in between. So, let's talk about the extremes first and talk about maybe where we should all fall as we move forward through the rest of the strike season. The first is sort of the Pollyanna side of things, if I'm using that word correctly. Basically, eternally optimistic, thinking that everything's okay, or maybe even to the extreme of burying your head in the sand and avoiding all information. Now, whether you're a union member or not, that's sort of a dangerous, willful ignorance to be guilty of. So I will caution you about being so allergic to the information in the news that you actually don't know what is going on at all, or to the point where you're actually sort of having negative thoughts against the actors and the writers as to why they're striking to begin with. On the other extreme are the doomsdayers, the chicken littles, who just want to read every headline and every article, every trade publication, and listen to every voice that's out there and form opinions without actually reading the articles, but just sharing the headlines and making judgments based on headlines and not having all the information either, but being very vocal about it and very negative about it. And I don't think that extreme is very helpful either. It's just going to feed into any anxiety you're already experiencing and send you on a downward spiral if you're not careful. So those are the two extremes. And so most of us are probably falling somewhere in between them, but likely leaning one direction or the other. And basically, I just have one real overall message, which is specifically regarding the SAG-AFTRA strike. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to your acting teacher. Don't listen to your agent or the casting directors that are vocal on social media, not without first checking the facts yourself. And in regards to updates to the strike talks, don't get those updates solely from those people or from the trade publications that are out there, because unless it's a direct quote from a member of the SAG-AFTRA negotiation team, and some of this wisdom could be applied to the WGA negotiations as well, then you can't necessarily trust what you're reading. If you're listening to seventh hand knowledge from someone who heard it from someone who read it somewhere, and that person heard it from someone from an inside source close to the negotiations, you can't trust that as actual truth or fact. And so many people are spreading this information, and then it becomes a game of telephone where the stuff that actually is being repeated is not accurate anymore. And so it's just not helpful if you're interested, but you're not interested enough to go to the source and find the facts. So just be very careful that when you do hear information about the strike, or that you even read information, that you don't just stop at the headline, that you go deeper, read the whole article, and then go to sagaftrastrike.org, because that is the source of any factual information in regards to what SAG-AFTRA is doing, what they've said, what they're asking for in regards to negotiation terms, etc. Anything less, and you're playing a dangerous game of possibly spreading misinformation. And it's all just going to feed into the anxiety that we're all feeling already. So stop. Just stop. Stop doing that. Again, don't go bury your head in the sand, and don't just willfully be ignorant and think, oh, everything's going to be fine. Because, well, let's lay the facts out. In the last writer strike, it took 6 weeks after they went back to the negotiation table to strike a deal. And even if it doesn't take that long, it's going to take several weeks once the WGA goes back to the table with the AMPTP before a deal is agreed upon on both sides. Then, of course, it has to be ratified by the membership. Then they move to the SAG-AFTRA folks and our negotiation team. So this is going to go for a while. But find other things to focus your time on. You can stay abreast of all of the updates and the headlines, again, at SAG-AFTRA and not from your friend who heard it from a friend, from somebody else who read an article headline that was from a trash publication. Go to the source, learn the actual facts, but don't get swamped and don't get lost in the mire and the muck and the negativity of it all. You got to stay balanced during this time. You got to find other things to do to occupy yourself, to fill you up, to make sure that psychologically and physically and emotionally and spiritually you can stay balanced during this time. I think a lot of muggles, i.e., non-artists, don't really understand what it is we're striking for or what it is we're actually going through this far into the strike. Oh, and one last note. Here in the Southeast US, a lot of actors who might be watching this video are non-union and are either confused as to what's going on or confused as to whether or not they should have joined the union already or should they join it now or might start feeling convicted to join in the near future. To which I say, great, we would love to have you in our membership. But the bottom line is, if you're feeling that tug, if you're feeling that curiosity, then you should learn more about what is happening. It would behoove you to learn about this union, to learn about why we're striking and why it doesn't just affect union actors, but it affects all actors, and not just today and not just tomorrow, but in the years and decades ahead. This is a moment in our history as union members, as actors, as artists, as storytellers, to not miss, to not let it go by and you just be sort of on the sidelines. Even if you don't join SAG-AFTRA, even if you're not a member of WGA, you should inform yourself as to what is happening. And there it is. My short video that I didn't bother to write a script for turned into a much longer video than I expected, but it's an important topic. And I hope this week you can find maybe some comfort, some solace in not focusing so much on the industry and the negativity that might be flooding your inbox or your social media feeds. So stay positive, but not too positive. Don't be willfully ignorant. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you either at a rally or on a picket line or somewhere else where we can commune over what it is that we have chosen to make our lives work and why this moment in time is important. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you somewhere other than set for the foreseeable future.